Next up, we're going to cover some mistakes and traps within coach communication. And first off is demonstrating and receiving interest from college coaches. And the first one is demonstrate interest, right? I think that there's a key mistake that we see student athletes make is they assume that college coaches know that they're interested. They say, well, of course Lacey Wood knows I'm interested. It's Harvard, everybody's interested. But exactly, everybody's interested. So how are you going to stand out? How do you know, how did you make them know that you are interested in their program so that they can actively recruit you? It is really dangerous, and this is a key mistake. It's really dangerous to assume that college coaches know that you're interested in their program rather than make it clear to them. Make it 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt clear, and we'll talk about how in a second. Piece of this is that coaches want to recruit student athletes who are the right fit for and are also interested in their program, right? They want to be wanted. They want to have players invest time in researching their program and showing interest to their program. That signifies interest because coaches don't want to waste their recruiting resources or their time going after players who they think they like, but who don't necessarily show some interest in their program. They don't want to waste, turn their wheels recruiting this player who's looking at a completely different set of schools. They want efficiency. They want to save time and resources. So they're looking for student athletes that they think can return on their investment of time and recruiting resources.
They also show, it shows a lot of initiative to be able to do that because, these programs are not very large. So when they go and they want to find a specific player, they want to make sure that that player is going to add a ton of value, yes, to their team, but more importantly to their university. And they represent their university well. And right from the get-go, even as a freshman, being able to go up and say, I really enjoyed watching you guys this past season from X, Y, and Z. Or do you have anybody that's interested in or that's studying biology on your team? Because that's something I want to be interested, or that I'm interested in and want to potentially study, are really, really important to do.
Next question obviously is, okay, how do I show this interest in my target schools? How do I demonstrate this interest? And first is you need to, quote unquote, recruit these programs that you're interested in as much or if not more than they're recruiting you. So you need to reach out to them as much or more than they're reaching out to you. You need to demonstrate interest in them as much or more than they are demonstrating interest in you. And then another key part here is maintain an effective level of proactive communication with the college coaches at your target schools, and also mix up how you reach out to them. Don't just email them, don't just call them. Mix in a phone call, mix in an email, throw them a handwritten note, shoot them a text, engage with the program on social media. I think that's one that kind of goes under leverage is, give the Pomona Pitzer softball has one of the best Instagrams and Twitter accounts that I've ever seen. Follow them and engage with their program.
Middlebury's is pretty good too.
Middlebury's is great. Give them a retweet, give them a like, comment on their post, follow their story, whatever the case may be. I think that doing things like this show interest and also help coaches see you as somebody that stands out in the process by showing this interest and by showing this genuine interest in their program and kind of what's going on there.
I think also this is where mom and dad can really actually come into play here. It's got to all come from the kids, right? Because as much as a coach wants to hear from you, and they will, but not yet, they're recruiting the student athlete. Make sure that when they are sending stuff out, you're taking a look at what that says. Make sure that they're sending stuff that makes sense. Make sure that if they are on social media and they are following some of these things, that if they're getting a follow back or if, a coach may look at it, that your social media is cleaned up. These are small things that a parent can really engage in. And again, we touch a lot about this, upon this at camp, which I think is really, really important through the process.
Absolutely. And so when it comes to coach communication, we're saying you have to communicate with coaches. Great. How do you do that? How do you go about that? We think about it in terms of the 3 P's of coach communication. One, be proactive. Proactivity has already come up a lot in this, I feel, and it's not going to stop coming up. It's going to keep coming up because it's a really, really crucial part of this recruiting process. Be proactive. Reach out first. Reach out before camp. Reach out before the tournament that you might see a coach at and just drop them a note and say, hey coach, I'm really interested in Pomona. I'd love to, I'm excited to see you at camp, Coach Figueroa, whatever the case may be. Next is be persistent, but don't pester. The way that I think about this is kind of best practice. Always have a reason to reach out. Don't just decide that you're going to email Coach Bevere from Middlebury every Tuesday just because it's a Tuesday. Have a reason, whether it's, hey, here are my updated SAT or ACT scores. Here's my latest transcript with SAT scores. Here's my latest recruiting video. Here's my latest travel ball schedule. Whatever the case is, if you have a reason and you are reaching out thoughtfully and respectfully, you are not pestering them, but you are demonstrating proactivity and you are demonstrating your persistence, which shows interest and keeps you on their radar, and also, by the way, keeps them informed of your updated SAT scores
Exactly.
and updated video.
Exactly right.
And the last part is personalize every touch point. This is one that it kind of seems self-evident, but we hear so much from college coaches that they get an email that's addressed to the wrong program or addressed to the wrong coach, or it says, hey, dear Coach Johnson from Amherst, I'm really excited to major in aeronautical engineering. Great. That sounds like that email is meant for a school that has aeronautical engineering probably. So the way that I think about this is not just the negative side of it of making mistakes in this, but the way that you personalize your message can help you stand out as well. I say include 3 to 5 unique facts in each touch point, in each email. Say, I'm really interested in Amherst because of 1, where it is, 2, the majors they offer, 3, I saw how you guys did in the NESCAC this year, whatever the case is. Have 3 to 5 unique points that personalize each outreach for why you are interested in their school, and this really helps show that you're taking your time, you're being thoughtful, you're being proactive, and you are actually invested and interested in their college program.